The days go by. Here we have the August sun as a glowing ball standing in the sky. At the moment it's rather a run of the gauntlet than a firm defense. When we have once again reached a reinforced position, the Russian again advance past us and are threatening the units in the flank. Then they counterblow in order to retake the line, holding this for 2 days, then into reverse gear again. This way it's been going for days. The optic is also not quite in order, and despite the aiming error, I don't always find the right spot. It's as if the gun is playing tricks on me. Sighting it would be good, but we don't get that at the moment. And adjusting it ourselves, we are unable to do. So for now, we are just scaring Ivan rather than destroying him. The commander is aware of the circumstance and is not blaming me. 2 more days, then we are supposed to be relieved and go to the repair shop. Meanwhile, much has been busted. A few items inside the tank are only patched together and are just barely holding together. Even the turret hatch of the boss won't close tight anymore, and the machine gun of the radio man is only able to be pivoted to the left. The sword is dull. There, you can do anything about it. Because of this, we are rather standing as security and attempt to scare away the Russians with the range. I've already rendered a few T-34s disabled, but unfortunately I didn't score any direct hits. That does eat a little at my pride, even though all understand the technical dilemma. The other companies are constantly involved in heavy combat with the Russians. We notice that the losses are constantly increasing, and also that good comrades are falling under the fire of enemy tank guns or are going back to the homeland severely injured. Finally, we are withdrawn, and I can, together with the crew, take the tank to the tank repair shop. The repair facility troops have lots to do. The constant redeployment is eating up the vehicles. The availability of spare parts is poor. For 3 days, Heidi is to be overhauled. I talked to the master armorer that it absolutely has to be sighted in too. He reassures me that they'll take care of it, and I could, if I wanted, also participate. I'll do that for sure. We received quite acceptable quarters, and it also doesn't take long until Fritz arrives. As always, in a good mood, he's got something to eat along. Therefore, we indulge in the delicacies. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get any machine pistols for him. Yet. It just hasn't worked out. That was quite alright, he remarks laughing. If it took longer, then that was also okay. As we are sitting there and having a conversation, it suddenly rushes in. Red flyers zoom over our head and let their bombs drop between the huts. Already we're lying in the dust and hope that they won't drop something again. A few bombs are still falling a bit further away, and the nightmare is already over. We get up and pat the dust off our uniforms. Bastards. One can't even have some rest here. In the evening there's finally mail from home. 3 letters from Gudrun. And I look at the dates so I can read them in the right order. She writes a lot about her parents. My father-in-law is doing well again. About his company, which was booked to the limit, but also that more and more German cities were being hit by bombers. Just unfortunate that they don't live in Hamburg. In the last letter, Gudrun is writing to me that I'm going to be a dad. I'm delighted and jump up, run over to my comrades and have to tell the news immediately. Just like a small boy who's allowed to the fair, I jump around the area. A son or a daughter, it doesn't matter. Most importantly, healthy. At the turn of the year she's due. I hope I manage to be home then and will be able to hold my wife and my child in my arms. I've read the letter multiple times right now, and from all the joy, I can't get to sleep. The next morning, I have to see right away wherever I'll find Fritz. I do have to share the news, but he's nowhere to be found. And I'm later gone with my crew. Here, too, great joy over my offspring. The commander is also happy for me. At this time, the crew is my family, until I'm assigned somewhere else. But that's all right. If Heidi is shooting properly again, none of this is a problem. I'm becoming a father. I am, despite all the heavy blows in the past months, overjoyed, and hope to get home soon in order to embrace my Gudrun in my arms. But first, the routine everyday duties of the soldier have to be fulfilled. We help out where we can, improving our quarters or standing watch with the grenadiers. We've also finally received light anti-aircraft defense, so we are keeping the red birds at bay. Now, I've finally seen the first tigers up close. 2 of the big beasts have been detached from a tank unit and were positioned on top of a hill nearby. They then held it for 2 days. Heaviest shelling wasn't able to destroy these steel colossi. They must have received hit after hit, and regardless, nothing penetrated. They look as if they've been shot from all sides. Unfortunately, I'm not able to speak with the crews. They were directed to go further to the rear. But I found out that we, together with the company, were to take over the hill. However, after one of the Tiger commanders advised our company commander that our tank there would just be presenting a paper target, and that due to the weak armor, our chances were rather bad. The hill was successfully abandoned and left to the Russians. Probably a wise decision. I wouldn't have been eager to drive up there. Finally, we get our tank back. Unfortunately, I wasn't present for the sighting in, though I'm assured that the optic was hitting spot on. Well, then all's well. Our companies still continue to be replenished and are still in their resting positions. While the Russian is still pressing here and there, he's apparently shot up his powder here too. The lines in front of us are thin, but are holding. As long as the weather cooperates and we have passable roadways, it's still coming together. But one again can notice the Red Air Force. They appear during the daytime, come in low, shoot, drop a few bombs, and then vanish again. At night they also come visiting, though they don't aim as accurately. Our aerial defenses have their hands full, and our commander says that we've requested additional anti-aircraft platoons, since our own were insufficient. But those are currently needed everywhere. One afternoon, I'm on my way to the makeshift kitchen facility, when I again hear the anti-aircraft guns barking. Don't stop or look up in the sky. Just quickly find cover somewhere and make yourself invisible. I throw myself away from the road into a ditch for shrapnel protection and wait. 2 armored personnel carriers are approaching our spot at high speed. They certainly are looking to drive under the anti-aircraft gun umbrella, but apparently the dust clouds have made the flyers even more aware of the wildly driving vehicles. Already the ground attack planes are turning in and firing from all guns. The first vehicle is hit but keeps driving. The second one is less fortunate. 2 bombs are dropped. The armored personnel carrier is torn apart. I feel the blast pressure of the explosion and duck my head deep into cover. The anti-aircraft fire dies down, and the airplane engines seem to be disappearing toward the east. I dig myself out of the ditch and take a look at the drama. The worst vehicle still managed to make it to the first house. The soldiers have some wounded and are already taking care of them. I take to my heels and run towards the smoking armored personnel carrier. Already, I see burning bodies, which are lying next to the wreck. There's nothing to be done here. All around the vehicle lie several soldiers, partially still in one piece, partially torn apart, without limbs, and also one without a head. Quickly I look around. I have to keep away from the wreck, since the heat is getting to you. Hopefully, there's no more ammunition within the remnants of the vehicle. Hardly 10 meters away lies an officer. His left arm has been severed. He seems to be breathing. His uniform is partially burned. I run over and look whether more help is on the way. That's probably taking a while. I turn the first lieutenant over. He appears to be a bit older. The face is smeared with mud and blood. One eye is hanging from his eye socket. And next to it is a hole, probably where the piece of shrapnel went in. With a healthy eye, he's looking at me. He wants to say something, but blood is running from the mouth. I lay him on his back and see how the blood is gushing from the stump of the arm. I take the belt off his uniform and try to tie off the arm with that. When I tighten the belt, he moans, but indeed, the flow of the blood diminishes. In his upper thigh, there's also a hole, just not bleeding as badly. I think he must also have internal injuries. He keeps looking at me and keeps getting paler. Still, there's no medic on site. I tell him he should hang on, the medic would be soon here. He coughs and spits up blood. The eye still appears to be hanging by the optical nerve and moves back and forth with each motion. He wants to say something. I calm him down. But it's going to the end. I hold his hand tight and thereby try to give him the feeling that he's not alone. He still groans out, "Letter" and "Frieda" and "the children." With his good arm, he wants to pull something from his chest pocket. I help him and pull out a letter. Slowly, his voice is dying down. I have to bring my ear in close to understand him. "Please write, my final thoughts were only for my family. They shall not forget me." The muscle tension is slowly letting up. The soul is leaving the body. His eye is now staring straight up at the sky. The glimmer vanishes. He's dead. I slowly let him slide to the ground and hold the letter, soiled with blood, in my hands. Help has arrived. The medic briefly asks me what happened and remarks that it had hit 8 men inside the armored personnel carrier. All dead, burned, torn apart, shot to pieces. Typical aerial attack. I still help in putting up the flames and recovering the dead comrades. Burned flesh. Truly horrific. But it doesn't matter. This has to be done right now. A tower vehicle pulls the destroyed armored personnel carrier off the road, and we are dismissed, for now. First off, I have to get washed up, and then trot back to the barracks. Then a lieutenant of the infantry stands in front of me and tells me that he would like to talk to me. He was inside the first APC and wants to know from me what the dying man had said to me. The medic had told him that I'd been with the man. The two apparently had not just been comrades, but also friends. We talk a bit off-site and sit down on 2 rocks. The lieutenant tells me who the deceased was, and that they have been together for a long time. A brave man, a daredevil, a good superior officer. He was due to go home in a few days, since his wife had given birth to their 3rd child. It makes me sad, and just now I become aware that I, too, could possibly not see my child if something happened to me. I tell him his last words and his wish. The lieutenant asked me whether I could write the letter to the family as he had instructed me. Yes, of course I'll do that. He would report to his company commander what happened, and he himself as well as the commander would also write. Since I had listened to his final words, well then, I promise to do so, and the lieutenant inquires about my name. I give it, and he states that if I ever needed anything, I could get back with him. I give him my hand to that. He walks back to his men. Again, a day at the Eastern Front, during which many good men have died. And I realize more and more that every day could be the last.